I tell people I believe Shreveport has to be a city of opportunity. We have to send that message out to our citizens and folks who want to come here. The budget, as we talked about, is a vision and a blueprint, and that doesn't necessarily mean we have to always give financial resources. Sometimes that can be as simple as doing a resolution in support, or talking to our federal delegation, or that could be providing space at a reduced cost. Sometimes that could be with our police department. Are we individuals feeling safe? So my top 3 priorities are economic development, crime, and making sure that we grow and expand our medical and technology community here. It's important, and part of that comes with expanding the higher education opportunities here. And the city can be a huge partner in doing that. If we can talk about renovating or doing the Cross Bayou, which at some point we need to do something on Cross Bayou. We can talk about growing our higher education economy here, growing our medical sector here. We have a lot of vacant space. Southern is looking to put a law school somewhere. We have vacant space. The library would be a great space. It already has a law library in it. It used to be a federal courthouse. We can move the library down to Shreveport. Create a STEM library system. The library director would like more parking, and create a partnership. And these are just the type of out-of-the-box thinking that we have to talk about, and we haven't even started talking about money yet. But sometimes it's an allocation of space, and looking at that budget and saying what will require a dollar amount to it, and making sure that we are actually budgeting toward those priorities. But you have to set a vision. That's even biblical. We have to write out our vision, make it very plain, and make sure that our budgeting aspect of it is complementary of that vision, and making sure we're driving toward those goals. I tell people, I think right now we are faced with the question of, are we satisfied with what we have now, the economy that we have now? Are we satisfied with that? And the question becomes then, why continue it if you're not? We cannot just be satisfied with paving streets here and there, doing the water and sewer consent decree, because that's going to be done. Shreveport doesn't necessarily need a manager. We need a leader willing to set a bold vision and bring people together around that vision and make it a community vision, and invest and make sure that these things align with our 2030 master plan, and be able to strategically implement those goals and objectives.
Yeah. So my top 3 priorities is crime, economic development, and again, making sure we just overall grow the city. We grow the city overall. And the way that we would do it, well, I've elaborated on the crime part, the leadership part, and increased presence, economic development part, working on things from outside, putting up a good face for Shreveport, and then building ourselves up within. And the equity part at the end is just building up our entire city together, looking after every neighborhood, every person in the city.
I would like to make Shreveport the most desirable place to live. And you need to do that with innovative ideas. I have an idea about how to do something. Someone else has an idea about how to do something. We come together collectively and address that issue. The budget, I think the priorities in the budget needs to be looked at real carefully and articulated. If people understood what we were doing, why we were doing it, there may be more buy-in as to why we are necessarily doing that. There may need to be a master plan in terms of which direction do we go. I've worked on master plans before, and there's more than one way to get to downtown Shreveport. Some come from the north, some come from the south, come someplace else, but the whole idea is to get to downtown Shreveport. So if we understood that and keep focused on the target, my priorities, my 3 priorities would be economic development, entrepreneurship development, so that people can have a disposable income, and they need like a formal, if you will, some serious help in trying to develop that. I think the fair share program needs to be looked at. When you talk about fair share, when the idea is to bring minorities into the business realm, You need someone that's actually interested in you being successful in this program. I've been a part of, I have seen the DBE program on the federal level, the MBE program, and I know that there are challenges within those programs, but the intent is for that program to work. So the Fair Share program, economic opportunity, and the issue of crime, that needs to be addressed. And it's not so much, I'm not in favor of just locking them up and throwing away the key. We need to get to the core of the matter and see what the problems are actually.
My vision is quite simple. I want to bring back the city that we all love. I can remember the Shreveport steamers, the Shreveport captains. I can remember all these wonderful things that we've had, and I want to get it back. You know, I can remember going downtown and not being hassled. I can remember my friends, and I hear this constantly, you know, that they go to Walmart and somebody's over there hassling them. They go to a gas station, somebody's getting hassled. You know, my vision is to provide a place that we used to have. I want to recreate Shreveport in the way we love. I want to make sure that people are safe, they feel safe. We're going to make that happen. The resources are quite simple for that. You know, they're there right now. They're being spent right now, but we're just not utilizing it and managing it in the right way. And I want to make sure that we do that. The three priorities would be the crime. I certainly want to do that. The next thing I want to do is clean up our city. One of the reasons that I'm really running today is there was one day I was coming home and I think I hit 2 potholes, and I'm looking around and there's trash everywhere I look, and I get home and I turn on the news and there was a child shot, and I'm like, this is it. This is it. I don't want that anymore. Those are my 3 objectives and my 3 visions that I want to make sure that we clean up. We can easily get rid of, you know, we don't have pride. Every time to me somebody throws out a sack from McDonald's or wherever, you know, it's just a lack of pride. It's nothing more. You go to any other city, and I've lived in several, and if there's pride there, you don't have litter. It's truly not an issue. But I do see a lot of vehicles that are going down the road, and they're, you know, trash is flying out. We've got to police that. We've got to make sure. I don't care if it's, you know, a commercial vehicle or a residential vehicle. The law says it has to be covered. We're going to police that. We're going to ensure that. We're going to keep our city clean. We've got to make examples of that. The other is our infrastructure. Changing it over from the way we do business now to having a managed street repair program. Just so we can take, if you can imagine, dividing it up into 8 sections. And we take and we look and we make sure with the city engineer. And I've talked with a couple of engineers to make sure exactly to understand that process. But we would go out and we would look at the 2 worst areas, and the money the first year would go into those 2 heavy areas that needed the infrastructure issues corrected, and make sure they were done properly. Now, we still have to have people who are going out and fixing the potholes and the blow-ups that we hit every day, but those would be my issues.
Well, I'd say number 1 priority, because everything focuses on money, is getting a handle on our budget. Looking at every department and find out where the wasteful spending is. Not to point fingers. You know, leaders don't point, they point a direction. Finding out where we can save the money. Looking at where we can do some tax breaks. You know, if someone wants to come into business, you know, make their tax breaks performance-based instead of just here's your tax break, and well, if we see in a, you know, we see in a year, we'll see in a year. If you make it 3 years, that's great, but make them performance-based. Pride of ownership. Obviously, our infrastructure. I said initially that it's quality of life issues. We must take care of those before we even go looking at any of the business ventures that involve city capital or city investment. I'm not against growth, but on the backs of the citizens that are crying out now, you know, for basic needs and services, I can't in all good conscience, you know, say we're going to go look at building such and such and such and such and investing more city money, you know, when we can't even provide the services that we're entrusted to do. I think $488 million since whatever it is plenty of money. It should be, based on the numbers that I've looked at other citizens comparable to us that have the same amount of services and somewhat the same amount of issues. It is basically, where are we spending that money? So I think budget is paramount. I think the airport authority, I think people are tired of going, well, maybe they're not tired, but I'm tired of them leaving and driving to Dallas to fly out of Dallas because it's $233 cheaper. There's got to be a reason for that. It's going back to, where's the money being spent? There's some areas that we can cut. There's some areas that we need to be focused on. Why are our landing fees so high? These are things that people are asking me every day. And the only way I'm going to be able to answer that is dig deep, drill down. Budget is, I think, is the issue. Crime, obviously. When I just got asked by someone says, hey, I don't know how to answer this, but maybe you can help me out, is that I have a foreign company wants to come in here, and a foreign company wants to come in here and for 2021, and we're trying to land this deal. But they see on the internet the crime's through the roof. That's the perception. The crime is through the roof. If you stay in your house every day and watch Fox, CNN, or whatever else, you're going to think, my God, the world is falling apart. Until you get outside and you meet gentlemen such as you and say, hey, everything is good. So the point is that let's deal with the perception of crime. Let's get new leadership in the positions leading this department. Let's give the officers everything they need to be successful, just like you would as your business. You know, and I think we'll take care of ourselves. Remember, we're the capital of the Arkladex. We have everything we need to be successful.
Well, you know, the vision remains the same, because I got the vision from speaking with people across this city, and that is for us to become a thriving, robust city where every citizen is afforded a safe environment, economic opportunity, great quality of life, and education and training. And we've been working toward that vision since the day I came through the door at the beginning of 2015. So we put in place a strategic plan that was going to last at least 4 years, because that's what I was elected for. Then we're going to go back and see how, and every year we give a progress report. Every year we put it on the web. Every year we show people how we've spent that money. And you know, we've even reduced taxes. We have all that on the website. So going forward, I see us having to finish the job of addressing infrastructure. As I said earlier, we have 1,000 miles of streets, 1,000 miles of sewer lines that we must address. And so we're going to try to finish doing most of that over the next 4 years. And I said, if I become mayor, I mean when I become mayor for the next 4 years, okay? And so we're gonna, that's a big issue. Even though it's been neglected, I can tell you around the country, infrastructure is a big issue. Now, you will see a lot of construction going on across our city right now. To me, that's progress, because as I said, we've completed more than 216. We've put in a very aggressive plan for replacing streets, and we've done 33 different projects at a cost of $180 million on water and sewer projects. We must finish that job. Our next big thing, I think, is as in addition to the pride that I talked about as a priority, we're going to have to continue our recruitment to get our businesses to grow, our small businesses to become able and build capacity to be able to do business, not just with the city of Shreveport, but anywhere they go. So we're going to continue those efforts, and we're going to continue to work with larger businesses, because they've certainly been a big help. They've even given scholarships so that we could have classes for some of the small business and so we have grown our fair share program from 21 million contracting with the city to 50 million last year. And so we're going to continue those efforts, because we've had to actually help build capacity by utilizing those partners at the state level. But growing our businesses, offering economic opportunity, making sure that people have opportunity for training. We work with all the universities in the area including our sister city where Bolger Parish Community College is, to all of the universities on this side and technical colleges. But we're going to continue to offer those opportunities to our people, but we're going to push it up a notch. We just need that 4 years to help finish the job.